Glogang, you guys know this is man. Man, globoireactz, and I'm back, man. As you guys can see, we're gonna have to casually explain arm wrestling, bro. My favorite thing I used to do as a kid. Let's dive on in, bro.
Arm wrestling is my favorite niche sport, and it's perhaps one of the most misunderstood. If you ask a random person on the street, arm wrestling conjures up ideas of drunk idiots at a bar with fragile egos trying to out-macho each other. But that's not the case at all. Travis Bajan's actually really good.
Okay.
Beyond that, our general view of
yep, I remember that. Zia's and freaking Aiden's bodyguard, bro.
Just straight up snaps their forearm clean in half. This isn't what arm wrestling is about, because in reality, the arm wrestling community is a lot like the bodybuilding community.
Alright.
People think bodybuilding is about vanity and trying to be more jacked than other guys so you can get girls, but anyone who's gone to the gym long enough knows the only people admiring your micro-thong is the other homies.
What the
In a similar sense, arm wrestling appears to be two roided-up monsters with wrists bigger than my neck.
It's all about technique, right? You gotta know what to do.
Out of the socket. But if you start a match and your opponent doesn't want to hold your hand, you literally ask the referee to get the strap on. It's remarkably progressive, really. What most people don't know about arm wrestling is that it's primarily a hand, wrist, and forearm sport. It's not entirely how much you can bicep curl. In a sense, it's similar.
So arm is not about the strength, bro. It's about just technique, man.
To rock climbing, because even though the specific strengths are different, in rock climbing you can take a super jacked bodybuilder, but because he's never trained his grip in a crimp position, he's going to be barely any better than an average guy, because it's largely about your finger strength to body weight ratio. Similarly, professional arm wrestling requires strengths that most regular train, such as being able to rapidly fuck off under the table or shitpost on YouTube shorts in a foreign language. While most people think of arm wrestling as a side-to-side movement, this is literally how you end up breaking your feeble normal person bones. If your real-life opponent insists that anything but side-to-side is cheating, make sure you do it over a ledge so you at least get a banger of the live league video. In reality, arm wrestling properly is almost always both people pulling corner to corner, or occasionally one person pressing and another person. If you ever see someone using their body weight in a casual environment, that is actually the safe and proper way to arm wrestle, because it keeps your arm in line with your shoulder. If, however, you want some MLG pro tips to beat your friends at the bar, here are some tricks. Grip their thumb higher up for more leverage. Start with a slightly cupped hand. Bring your elbow and shoulder in closer to the middle to get a higher hand position and a narrower V shape for your
and that was one of the tricks I used to use.
As close as possible to the other person. Give them a quick peck on the lips, and then hit them with a flash spin like the
What the Kiss it, bro. What the hell?
Patriot you are. There are then additional stylistic techniques such as back pressure, side pressure, posting, which I like to do at most once per year. Then there's pronation, top rolling, and hooking. Then there's the more
so many techniques.
Like slot pressing, the king's move, the dad move, and many others that you can employ to emphasize your opponent's childhood weaknesses and engage your strengths. There is, of course, one strategy above all else, however, which is just being really, really fucking strong.
That's the best one.
Physically. One of the reasons I find arm wrestling so appealing is because it has one of the highest genetic anomaly to overall population ratios of any sport that I know of. Think of how crazy it was back in the day when Usain Bolt, who was 6 inches taller than what everyone thought a professional sprinter should be, came in and smoked every world record. We all said, wow, very fast and impressive. I'm greatly pleased by this novelty. Arm wrestling is like that, but it's almost every single person. Some people say,
that is true.
You know, what if there was a version of the Olympics where everyone was allowed to do as many drugs as they wanted? We say, to heck with it. Let's see what humanity's really capable of. And if you know anything about sports, that already exists, and it's called the Olympics. But in arm wrestling, it goes beyond that, not to just the limit of human pharmaceuticals, but the limits of human evolution. What have you combined to with a human? That's right, Oleg Zoke, the greatest left-handed sub-heavyweight of all time.
What the? Oh yeah, he ready, bro.
An all-around nice guy. How about a human in a can of spinach? Exactly, Alan Fisher. Who reminds me of someone, but I can't quite put my finger on it. How about a bunch of bananas and a human? Not a gorilla, it's Denis Saplenkov's hands.
God damn!
An enormous mythological creature, the Leviathan. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Shorten a little bit. Exactly, Levan Saganashvili. This guy's 420 pounds and has nearly 10-inch wrists. For reference, I just measured my ankle and it was 9 1/4. And look how thick those bad boys are. After looking at these mutant-level athletes, imagine what chance you'd have if you looked like a regular dad. Exactly, you'd be John Brzezinski, the undisputed greatest of all time. Because you have to remember my golden rule. Always hide your power level. One of the immediately noticeable characteristics of a lot of arm wrestlers is they can't fully extend their arms. Well, that leads to some of the most contentious issues in the sport. It also leads me to believe that the evolutionary pressure on the T-Rex was actually nature's effort to create the perfect arm wrestler. Arms that barely extend to help them win.
So they win in the T-Rex win every match, bro.
and a giant mouth to blame the shit refs.
What the?
Nevertheless, while doctors in the YouTube comment section, which of course are the same people,
Yeah.
often debate the cause of why arm wrestlers have arms that are so messed up, there is yet to be a definitive
What the
conclusion. It does, however, remind me a lot of the people who watch mogul skiing videos and
Okay.
comment, why do they all need so many knee replacements? Or the people who comment,
You know why.
why does everyone keep getting brain damage on League of Legends videos? What
Oh,
I love
damn.
about the arm wrestling community is that it's niche
It
enough
was
that it's
league.
kind of like one big family and they all really admire each other.
Okay.
I remember seeing mainstream Reddit videos posted of guys like Denis Sablenkov crushing walnuts with his fingers or
Damn,
Oleg
what
with
the
his weird left arm, and people would comment, I mean, if that's what you've been given, then you can't say I wouldn't do the same thing. As if what they experienced was some type of disability. And while
Yeah, but
yes,
it's not.
Dennis probably needs to use an iPad as a phone, these guys are genuinely revered in the community.
God
for their
damn, look at this
special
freaking man. Can't even use a regular phone.
abilities. Whether it's Oleg's weird arm and hand, Dennis's unusual and jacked frame, Devon's fucked up elbows, Michael Todd's coping mechanisms, or Dave Chafee's table IQ. It's
Okay.
genuinely seen as each person's talent, and all the average people in the sport are envious they don't have their own ultimate ability that other
They are
people
talented,
can
bro.
about. As it
And
currently
arm wrestling
stands, the
arts.
undisputed #1 super heavyweight is Levon Saganashvili. He's that one, by the way. Who is literally
Yeah.
obtained final boss status because he only does super matches against one opponent at a time.
Damn.
While Hermes Gasparini recently showed some serious potential in stopping Levon in later
But he
rounds
couldn't
after
win.
tiring him out, the only person who's thought to be able to beat him currently is the Australian heavyweight Ryan Bowen, who
Ooh.
everyone in the community agrees would win pretty easily, but unfortunately can't get his weight up to meet the class requirements.
Oh,
Meanwhile, there are
damn.
probably a dozen other people who are similar.
So they-
to
we
Matt's
getting that
Dennis who are
matchup.
all vying for #2 in the world, because they all know the secret to arm wrestling success.
Oh, they
Claim
on
you're
number
better
2?
than everyone else, then injure
Only 2 and #1, bro. In class and themselves.
yourself before you have to prove it. One of the most popular arm wrestlers is Devon Larratt, who's not only a world champion in multiple divisions and an
Okay.
ex-Canadian Special Forces member, but also one of the most charismatic ambassadors of the sport.
Oh,
When I was first
so he
researching
bought it,
arm
bro.
wrestling a while back, I thought, hey, maybe I should try this. Let me see what the best arm wrestlers from my small city are.
Alright.
Perhaps one day it could be me. And then I was like, oh, it's Devon Larratt.
Yeah, you ain't what?
Never mind. Anyway, jokes on
Never
him.
mind.
There's no arm wrestling clubs here, so I'm still literally undefeated.
Okay.
Devon is a lot like if Goku and Wolverine were one person, and then
Oh,
he always
damn.
ignores his injuries, rises to the challenge of new opponents, and then breaks his previous limit to defeat a stronger enemy.
Yep.
And he looks like a homeless Wolverine.
What
While
the
he was destroyed by Prime Dennis in 2018, this brought rise to the notorious Pancake Devon, who
Pancake
bulked up a
Devon?
6.5-foot frame and easily defeated Michael Todd for the heavyweight title in 2021.
Oh.
Similarly, in order to challenge Levon, Devon surpassed even his pancake form to contend with the Georgian.
His pancake
Despite
form?
his efforts, maple syrup intake, and high IQ match preparation, Levon had a special strategy prepared, which was turning completely invisible.
Damn.
Later, Levon said that at the time, Pancakes with Syrup Devon was probably the second strongest arm wrestler on the planet,
Oh.
validating the moniker Devon, Levon is the limit, Larratt.
Levon
which
is
I'm
the
sure
limit.
He will not be pleased with me saying out loud in this video.
What the?
Since then, other characters have emerged, such as Hermes No Fat
Okay.
Only Quality Gasparini, who, after learning English to sell merch, is now clearly the main #2 contender.
Alright.
There's also Zauer, 10 to 12 minute breaks between sets but still gets injured anyway, Paizalaya,
What the?
another less tested #2 contender.
Okay.
And Dennis, never show any emotion because then they'll know your power level Sablenkov, who is staging his comeback. As I'm sure you can tell, I
Comeback's
absolutely
real,
have
bro.
the native pronunciation of all those names. Dennis, who I'm referring to on a first-name basis because I like to imagine we're best friends,
Alright.
unfortunately fell ill in 2018, but was
Oh,
previously
damn.
considered the strongest arm wrestler ever before Levon. And
So he was on top before he got freaking ill, bro.
it's considered by some to be the only person in the weight class who could potentially match him on a strength basis, given not only his
Damn.
past dominance, but being pretty much the only person to have stronger gym lifts and multiple exercises,
Okay.
having an enormous amount of table experience,
Ooh.
insane hand strength, and having possibly the most unbendy arms in the game. He's the only
Oh,
person
yeah, so
who,
he's perfect
after his
for it.
illness, looked like this, and people said, oh, he looks so small and frail. I hope he recovers soon. And then you step back a second and think, oh, wait a minute, he's curling my bench press.
Yeah, he.
This guy's massive. And you're forced to diagnose yourself with someone else's body dysmorphia. Thankfully, he's been doing a lot better, and it's especially exciting because Dennis and Levon have never faced each other before, and everyone's hoping that Levon triples his Georgian pancake intake, Dennis absorbs another bar of plutonium,
Okay.
turns his hat backwards, and I can pay $25 to watch it.
And get ready, bro.
Similarly, with the internet, it's the first time ever that teenagers around the world with giant hands, forearms, and literally no lower
Already?
body have finally
They're
found
waiting
their
for this,
calling.
bro.
I mean, I think we're currently in the golden age of arm wrestling. So I highly recommend
True.
you get involved by getting a bag of chips, leaning back in your gaming chair, and watching hours of arm wrestling YouTube videos back to back without ever participating like me.
No, man. I was the champ in my school at one point. Then I lost. Glow Gang, that's it, man, for the reaction video for you guys today, man. All I'm asking for is 10 likes. Hit that super thanks button. Follow me on social media. Guys, and catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, Glow Gang.
Perfect.